We're going to Mexico! Welcome back to the series. Appreciate you coming along for the ride. And by the end of this episode, I believe we will have a tested, backyard tested race car ready for paint. So let's go over where we're at with the car real quick. We've come a long ways, and so has the car. So we have a 2008 Chevy Cobalt. Currently we have the bumper back on, so it actually is beginning to look like a car. That's about to come back off again. A few zip ties holding it. Hood pins are in. Under the hood we have our intake. We've changed the clutch. We've changed the steering rack. We have all new brakes all the way around this car. Doors are off for ease of entrance. No more jamming our leg. Shout out to our sponsors already on board. We've patched up the floor. We've got a few plates welded in for a cage. We're prepping for our cage now. Our seat is temporarily sitting in there. We need to build a gauge cluster bracket, a switch bracket, 3 holes to fill in the firewall. Our firewall in the rear is completely welded in. It does need to be seam sealed. Look at those welds done by Dennis and his father. They probably won't want me bragging about those ones. Our trunk is pinned down, and in the trunk we do have our fuel cell mounted. Trunk reinforced with sheet steel. I wouldn't call it reinforcement, but hey, it is what it is. We've got to change that steering wheel at some point, only because that seat pretty raunch, so we're probably going to change that out of the spare car. Rear brakes are replaced out of the spare car. We did the master cylinder out of the spare car. Shifter's been changed out of the spare car. We should have just got a different car, really, but hey, it's going to be a pretty good race car. So Dennis is on his way up tonight. We're going to try and get the cage started. We got to figure out that miss with the motor. That's where we're kicking it off when we get going. So, Dennis, you made me get the camera out. I was going to wait until we were ready to start it up and see what the code was, but yeah. You're over here making noises. But let's back up. When you got here, you didn't think, you thought it was going to be something simple. So where did you want to go, and what have we done, and what have we found? So
the end of the last video, the car started sputtering a bit, and the check engine light was flashing. We had a code set for misfire. So it was number 4 cylinder. So we swapped the coil and plugs around, and that didn't fix it. So it led us to the injectors. You want to take a peek in there? We got a light
right in front of you. Look at the dirt that came out of there. If you can see, shine the light in that bucket for a second. Look at the dirt. That's pretty gross.
So if you look in the fuel rail there, look at all the dirt like in around the edges.
Yuck.
Now I'm hoping that's our misfire, but we'll find out.
So is that cylinder 4?
Yeah.
So are we going to swap the injector, or are we just going to clean it and put it back in?
We're going to clean it and we're going to swap it, because if it is the injector, it'll follow it to that cylinder. So that'll kind of rule it out a little bit.
Sweet. Well, let's clean these injectors and fire this car up. We fired up the car. Forgot to videotape it. Dennis is plugged in, but he's making some funny noises again. What's going on over there, Dennis? What'd you find?
So, according to the data that we have here, we had the misfire on number 4. It has moved to 2.
Haha.
So I would say we got a bad injector, but I'm going to fire it up and see, just to make sure.
Sweet.
Unfortunately, these things shut off when you fire the vehicle up, so you got to fire it up and then go back through the whole thing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
of course.
It's a pain in the ass, but anyway. We're on the right track.
Well, at least you moved it. That's a good thing. I will say, that miss is significantly worse now.
It is, yeah.
Like that. I don't know what you did to that injector.
This car has definitely been a love-hate relationship. We're just working out the kinks, but we'll get her.
She's coming.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear you fire her up if you're ready.
Doesn't sound very good, but...
Fuel pump on.
I suppose you got that switch off, don't you?
Yeah. We got a new switch installed on the fuel pump here. As soon as he tried to fire up, I knew. Yeah? Oh, that's a good sound.
But yeah, no, like you said, it moved from 4 to 2, so.
Good, yeah. Good.
I'd rather it be that than
anything internal. Inside the motor. Well, slapping an injector in there, that'd be no problem at all.
Yeah, we could do that. Too bad the old parts car at back didn't have an engine in it.
That would be, even if it was blown up, at least we'd have an injector. But.
Yeah, well, that makes me feel a whole lot better. But yeah, we're making progress.
Time to start. Well, we know we got to change an injector, so at this point we might as well jump onto the cage. You've welded the battery box up, fuel pump's completely wired in, so we're up against the cage.
Yeah.
So there's nothing else we can do.
Yeah, no,
well, we could do the exhaust, or we could do, but that can be done the week before.
Yeah.
We got to get to that.
It's getting real.
It's time. It's time for the cage in! Things are happening. Things are happening. We still have a miss. We're going to get an injector. But, to never guess, we got him on his knees. I'm not sure why, but Dennis often shows up on it in the videos on his knees. Check it out. Check it out. First couple bars have started going in. Yeah! Big moment. Been waiting for this moment for a long time. It has been a full week since, not only a week and 12 hours since Dennis and I and Evan started putting the cage in. And I don't believe that I ever actually showed you where we ended off last Thursday night. So, we do have our two front uprights tacked into place. They took a little bit of adjustments, but we've got them even on both sides. And we were getting ready to start the back, but we ran out of time. It was getting late and we were getting tired and cranky, so it was time to call our night. But over the past week, we've been in a heat wave, and it has been way too hot to even try and work out here in the shop, so especially running the welder. We did have a couple days in there that I tinkered away a little bit. Let's go over that, see what we've done. Inside the car, this battery box is officially bolted in. Let's pull our, come on, this is supposed to be an easy task. Our battery tie down cover off. So we've got our battery tie down in. This box has 4 bolts holding it down, and I mentioned about covering wrapping the battery in the door rubbers. There's all the door rubbers installed. We even have them under the battery to give it a little bit of cushion. What else have we done to this car in the last few days? Oh, we installed our switch plate. I don't know if this will be permanent, but I needed somewhere to just hold it, so cut a quick piece of steel. Wrapped up our wires, tied them up, secured them. So that's probably how they're gonna stay. We added a piece of positive wire, and we fixed up our ground here a little bit. This one, it's not much of a ground, but it's gonna help. And we put a new ground on here. But that's about it for this car over the past little while. Oh, we did pick up our tires for the race, our spare tires, from ACS Automotive. They were a sponsor last year, coming on aboard this year again. So we've already got tires from them. Appreciate that. That was big. So now we have 12 tires of the exact same size for the car. So that's pretty cool. So I did come out one day, and you'll notice that I don't do much welding. Well, there is a reason for that. I've been offered only ever once for someone to give me some tricks and tips. Never welded in my life. Always said, I don't want to weld. There's enough people around that can do it. I don't need to learn it. Well, right now, this week, I've been spinning my wheels with not knowing how to weld. So I decided I'd come out, give my hand at her. I did try and install the fire extinguisher bracket the other day. I got a few little tacks on her, but I was playing with the settings trying to figure out what worked, and I ruined both the tips we had left for the welder. So we had to put that on hold. It is what it is. When you don't know how to do something, you try and learn it yourself, you're going to make mistakes. So we were going to go at that last night, but it was 30 degrees in my shop, so we kiboshed it. So I think that's about what I've got done on the car lately. Battery box completed. I did strap the fuel filter under the car, only because I didn't want it shaking and possibly coming off. So that's strapped under the car, held in place. Battery box is in. Fire extinguisher brackets partially in. We've got Dennis working today. Believe it or not, we cut both of those bars back out today and made them straighter, and definitely happier with how they are now. Just this main hoop bar, the way we had the other bars, they would have been laid back at quite an angle, so we weren't happy with that, so we cut them out, made some adjustments. But look, we officially do have a cage main hoop tacked into place, and welds are happening. I was staring right at that. Whoop! Things are happening. Things are happening. Dennis even welded down all my nuts. Where are they? In here? Oh, frig! We can show you this too. Made oh, washer's flying. Made some brackets in here to hold this guy in place, nice and solid. Got this guy welded in here solid. So now when you close the trunk, make sure I'm not gonna break the grinder there again. Fits right into place. They land right in the hole. That's what we want to see. So that's sweet. Oh, we got our cord pinched. Move that out of there. That's not what I want to do. the other washer here. Bang! Beautiful. So I ordered today, ordered some pins to pin this down. So I gotta drill holes in them all the way around. But yeah, we're back in the shop. Big things are happening. I'm gonna try and convince Dennis to come right back up this week, first of the week. If we can get this thing welded in pretty solid, that would be great. Might even try and convince Evan to come up with the stick welder. Look at that, all contorted in there. He finished telling me earlier he wasn't very flexible, so.
Yeah, back's a little tweaked up from working last week, but we're making do with what we got.
You're laying in there like you're a young man.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the cage and what we did today?
Well, it's come a long way, seeing that we had to tear it back out of there and reposition everything and measure and use a level. And yeah.
Pretty wild. We were at a point today where we cut everything we had done in there out other than the plates.
Yeah.
A lot better for what we did.
Yeah, we've got more room to work with, and I think they'll be a little more happier with the measurements from the roof to the cage and everything.
He's got some work cut out for him to get some welds done up in there. You imagine, one thing to set the camera up in, but that welder's gonna be fun to get up in there. This one here shouldn't be too bad. Should be able to get to that pretty good. I was looking at the place and not the camera to try and show it, so I have no idea what it showed. But yeah, old Denny, he's back on his knees. Are you surprised? I'm not. I'll be honest. One thing I'm not a big fan of, cutting pieces off my cage. So we narrowed up the interior of the cage because, well, the car's just too skinny for it. So we narrowed it up, so we're taking almost 8 inches off this bar, and well, hopefully we're measuring twice and cutting once today. Not very good at that sometimes. We were able to get this one close, but we were about 1/4 of an inch short, so I had to use the ratchet strap to pull it in tight. And the reason was, this measuring stick here has a magnet on the end, had 1/4 inch of junk built up on it in their metal shavings. So we're gonna do better on this one. We double checked our measurement and we were 1/4 inch off. Urgh. Hands down, the night I've been looking forward to the most. We'll have a cage. Boys, oh boys, has it been a wild couple of weeks. We've gotten a lot done, and I'm finally to the point I've been looking forward to the most during this whole build. But if you look real close, we have a cage in there. The only problem is, I was finally doing good at filming some of it, and the GoPro decided it was going to die, so I kind of stopped filming there while we were finishing that up. But let's check it out, see what's going on, and update where we're at with the car. Also, added a few names to the car, shepherds. Where are we? ACS Automotive. Thanks, guys. Sure appreciate it. Doors are back on even. Look at that. That bar right there, that one in the middle, that one was actually supposed to go here, but I liked it a lot better in there. Give a little support in the center. Mount my switches to that. If you look over the other side, see the door bars. Dennis sure did an awesome job welding that in. Rainbow, his dad, stopped in, checked it out, gave us a hand with a little bit of stuff. She's coming together looking like a race car. Careful where I step here. Step on the very front of that, might fall in the pit. But found out we had the wrong style hood pins, so they're now in there. All the way around. Pop this door open. Had to give the old door a little trim ski. Now, we were supposed to plate that whole thing of door bars. Well, I took the easy road out and put 3 plates on it. Hopefully they don't say anything. If they do, well, we'll be up against her. Bang! We have an exhaust built. The problem is, when taking it off last night, broke another bolt off, so I'm going to drill that out today. Get that started to be mounted on. As soon as that's mounted on the car, put a couple brackets in. We'll take her for a drive. Our miss is completely cleaned up. Should have videoed starting it up last night, but she purrs like a kitten now. So, real good progress. I almost forgot. Ended that last little bit. Look what we did. We decided that this one just wasn't gonna cut it. There's just nothing there, and well, it's kinda not the right color. It looks a little dark in there, but that sucker's pretty clean other than one little stain. That's a lot better. Oh, and look at the padding. It's all there. Boys, oh boys, are things ever moving along here in the shop. We've got some harnesses out today. So, been tinkering away the last few days, practicing welding. Finally starting to say that my welds are starting to turn into something. Not very good down there, you know, but pretty good up there. I'll take it. Pretty proud of that one. But hey, there's some good ones and there's some bad ones. Also, big shout out. Been adding some names to the car here. These names are going to turn into stickers here real soon. Dennis is on his way here in a couple minutes. Worked all night last night, but we're going to get the harness mounts in today. Might even put the window net bars on. Get the car ready to be painted inside. We're going to mount the exhaust. And then we're going to take it for a drive. We're going to go give her a shakedown, take it back, take this car to Mexico here real quick. It's going to be just like that. Poof. Going to show up there. Give it a couple test hits. Make sure she's running good. We put the injector in the other day. Fired right up. Didn't get a video. Sounds real nice. Clean. Gave her a few revs. And she echoes nice. No popping and banging coming down off of things. So that's cool. But let's put some harness mounts in. Get the harness ready. If we're going to take it for a drive in Mexico. Would be nice to have some harnesses. But it's questionable whether they'll be there. I said this video would end with us going for a drive. And we have finally got here. We are at probably week 3 of this video. There's been a lot happen, very little on camera. I'm really going to miss the GoPro when we try to take this for a drive, so bear with me there. But let's talk with Dennis. Dennis, where are we at? There's some stuff on this car that people haven't seen yet. Yeah, walk us through.
We've done a pile of work since we left off in the last video. Cage is done, seats in there, we got the harness, we got the window net. Everything's coming together pretty good.
Alright, let's take a peek in. Isn't that wild? So today we did do those harnesses, the window nets, they work. Dennis just tightened the steering wheel back on because we're going to go for a drive and he doesn't want the steering wheel to come off on me. We are going to Mexico. We're going to clean those gauges up, clean the windshield, strap the hood down, hook the battery up, and I think we're going for a drive. What are we on the same page on that?
Yeah, we're good now. Torque the wheels, air pressure is good. Made sure the spark plugs were tight because we did swap them around a little bit when we were diagnosing that misfire, so I did make sure they were tight and to spec. Yeah, I just did a visual inspection under there and everything looks good. So
wicked. We haven't talked about this yet. Let's get to it. Right over here. Look at that. We have not fired her up with that exhaust on it, so that's going to make her sound a little better, a little healthier. One other thing I'll have to do, tidy up those straps, tie them up a little bit so they're not flopping around during the race. But I'm actually going to take the harnesses back out before I paint the interior of the cab. If you see, the cage is starting to rust there real quick, and damp air and stuff, so I'm gonna paint the interior of her black here real soon, and we gotta move those switches around yet. Well, I guess it's about time we go for a drive in her. We're gonna strap in like we're a real race car driver. It's starting to feel like a race car, that's for sure. She's quite a process to get strapped into her, I tell you what. It's like a little Lego puzzle here. So come on, open up. Strap in, pull them tight, lock. Probably should have done this before I strapped myself in, but here we go. Oh, this way, buckled in. Just like that. We're in a race car. Oh man. Yeah, we definitely have to move the switches, Dennis, because I can barely reach the fuel pump.
Okay.
We got fuel pressure. This is the first start up with the new exhaust. Wonder how she sounds. That's way crisper. Let's see if we can run into something now. All right, let's go to Mexico. Well, hopefully that'll stay there for you. But we're going to Mexico. Seems like we're smoking out there. Might just be dust. didn't like it a lot. Alright, Dennis is going to be catching up to us here now. I'm going to get him to look around her real quick, make sure everything looks okay, and then we'll take her for another quick spin. Maybe try and get him to jump in with us. Dennis is going to follow us. Keep an eye out as we go around. I've got a harness in my side-by-side, but this one's way cooler. We forgot something. We didn't have the window net done out. Here we go.
Not really sure what happened, but I just started recording. Car sounds pretty good.
So far, pretty happy with how it sounds. Seems to be working pretty good today. Only missed 2 shifts, not a big deal, right? Transmission will take that all race long, I'm sure. But I did find the second gear seems to make good power. When you get her in the power band, the second gear, she'll keep pulling right through there for a good period of time. So second and third definitely going to be the happening gears. But now we're going to wait for Dennis to call. He's going to let us know it's safe to return from Mexico, and then we're going to head back. We got the okay from Dennis to return from Mexico. However, it sounds like we got a little bit of a squeak coming from that rear tire brakes. Whether we picked up a rock in there, a little bit of dust, hard to say. Probably dust. We are on a dirt road in Mexico, so I'm going with that. But that's that. That's it for this video. We're on our way home. Successful drive. Everything's going great. Window nets in, harnesses. Where you could race this car tomorrow. But we're going to paint it, put some stickers on it, and all of a sudden, before you know it, we'll be heading to Gary. Woo! But would it really be a video if we didn't dump her and do at least one burnout before we let you go?